When I signed my first pro contract, I didn't call my parents. Not because I forgot, but because I remembered everything. The time my dad yanked me off the field in front of everyone at age 12, yelling that sports were for dumb kids. The way my mom threw away my cleats during my junior year because scholarships should come from academics, not chasing a ball. I remember sneaking in push-ups in the bathroom, sprinting after dark, using birthday money to buy secondhand weights. So when my agent told me the shoe deal had cleared 7 figures, I just nodded. No tears, no phone calls. Now they want back in. But I haven't decided if they deserve to know the whole truth. Absolutely not. You're not wasting your time on a stupid game. That's what my dad said the moment he found out I made the high school varsity team as a freshman. He walked into the gym during tryouts, yanked me by the backpack, and dragged me out. Coach Thomas followed us, shouting, "Mr. Davis, your son made the cut. Good for him. He won't be playing." I remember the stunned silence of the whole gym. Some kids even laughed. Not at me, out of disbelief. That kind of scene just didn't happen in real life. It did in mine. After that day, I wasn't allowed to stay after school. No practices, no games, no lifting, nothing. But I didn't quit. Every morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. to run before school. I filled a backpack with textbooks and used it like a makeshift weight vest. I did push-ups during bathroom breaks. I watched free YouTube videos in the library about footwork and plyometrics. The assistant coach, Mr. Bryant, noticed. "You're not even on the team, are you?" he said one day when he caught me watching old game tape in the library. I shook my head. He paused. "You want a copy of our workouts? I can print them for you. No promises, though." I nodded. "Yes, sir." That moment changed everything. I followed the team's program to the letter, even though I wasn't on the roster. I shadow practiced in the dark, wore down the concrete behind the apartments we rented. And it paid off. Sophomore year, I beat everyone in the mile. Then junior year, I showed up to open tryouts and made varsity again. This time with a scout from Northern State in the bleachers. That's when my parents really lost it. You think some second-rate school is going to give you a future? You want to be some meathead who can't do anything but chase balls? "I'm getting offers," I told them. Real offers. My mom slammed the oven door. "You get a 4.0, and that's your thanks to us. Not this." And then she said it. "If you take that scholarship, don't come back here." So I didn't. But I wasn't ready for what would happen next. I left home 2 weeks after signing the scholarship papers. Didn't pack much, just some clothes, my duffel bag, and the old training shoes I'd worn down to the sole. The same ones my mom once threw in the trash. She didn't say goodbye. Neither did my dad. Coach Thomas drove me to campus himself. "Your folks coming to drop you off?" he asked, loading my bag into his trunk. No, he didn't push, just nodded and said, "Let's go get you started then." College ball was a whole different beast. Everyone was faster, stronger, smarter. Some of those guys had been training in private facilities since they were kids. But I wasn't intimidated. I was used to training alone. I was used to being underestimated. By sophomore year, I became a starter. Junior year, I was on the radar. ESPN posted a clip of one of my plays that went viral. A 68-yard run where I broke 3 tackles and outran the entire defense. That clip got me a DM from an agent named Rick Monroe. "Kid, if you stay healthy, you're going pro. Call me." That was the first time in years I sat in silence and just stared at my phone. Pro. I remembered my dad saying I'd never make it past high school. I remembered the night my mom told me that no real woman would ever respect a man with turf burn for brains. But here I was. When I told Rick I was ready, he moved fast. Within 6 weeks of declaring for the draft, I had 4 different brands offering endorsement deals. My first shoe contract offer came from a company I used to pretend to wear by drawing their logo on my socks. "You're looking at low 7 figures over 2 years, Rick said, flipping through paperwork. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it felt unreal. Then I got the letter. It was in a pale yellow envelope with my parents' return address on the back. No text, no call. Just a letter, like it was 1972. Inside was a typed message. "No, dear son." No signature. "We saw your name on TV. We hope you're doing well. If you have time, please call. Your mom isn't sleeping much these days." I stared at those lines for a long time. Not once did they mention how they treated me. Not the years of silence. Not how they made me feel like a disgrace. Just, call. I didn't. I kept training. Kept my head down. Then, 2 months before the draft, my dad showed up at my college apartment. I opened the door and froze. He looked older, smaller somehow. "You gonna let me in?" he asked. I didn't move. "Why are you here?" He looked around, shoved his hands in his pockets. "Your mom's in the car." I didn't ask if she was. He sighed. "We thought you'd want to see us. You know, before everything changes." My voice was flat. Everything already changed. He nodded slowly, eyes on the ground. Then he said something that stopped me cold. "I've been watching your games. Every single one." I waited. He didn't add anything. "You came all this way just to say that?" He finally looked up. "No, I came to ask if you'd let us be part of your life again." That's when I noticed my mom, standing behind him, just off the sidewalk. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. Just stood there like a stranger. I closed the door halfway and stared at my father. "You kicked me out over a scholarship. Now you want back in because I made it?" He opened his mouth, but I shut the door before he could answer. And for the first time since I was 16, I cried. But not for them. For the kid I used to be. The one who just wanted someone to believe in him. They left him behind. Why shouldn't I do the same to them? The draft came faster than I expected. I didn't throw a party. No cameras, no friends over. Just me, Rick, and a pizza we never touched. When my name was called, 3rd round, pick 78, Rick clapped me on the back so hard I nearly dropped my phone. "You did it, kid. You're in." I nodded, eyes still on the screen. My phone was already buzzing. Reporters, old teammates, brands, people from high school I hadn't spoken to in years. Then another name popped up. Dad, too. I turned the phone face down. After that night, it didn't stop. My parents called, texted, emailed, even mailed me a congratulatory card signed Mom and Dad, like we'd just had a mild disagreement that had blown over. Rick noticed. "You gonna answer any of those?" "No." "You sure?" I gave him a look. They buried me when I needed them most. Now they want to celebrate. Rick didn't say anything more. He knew what that meant. Training camp started a month later. I reported early, kept quiet, outworked veterans twice my size. Coaches like that. So did the media. Within weeks, I went from developmental prospect to getting first-team reps in practice. Then came the local news feature, a soft focus segment on the surprise rookie running back with a troubled past and an unstoppable drive. I watched it out of curiosity. Big mistake, because in the middle of the segment, they cut to an interview clip. My mother, sitting on a church bench in a pastel sweater, wringing her hands and looking directly into the camera. "We always believed in Marcus," she said, voice cracking. "We just didn't know how to support him the right way. But we're so proud of the man he's become." I dropped the remote. Rick saw it too. Called me right after. "They blindsided the station," he said. "Your parents reached out themselves, said they had a family redemption story." I already told the PR team, no more family interviews unless we approve. I didn't even respond. I was too busy staring at the paused screen, at the woman who used to say I was too aggressive whenever I came home from training with bruises, now playing the part of the regretful parent. But the final straw came 3 weeks later. I was in the middle of a recovery session when my phone buzzed with a video link. No sender name, just a URL. I tapped it. It was a walkthrough of a house. A big one. New construction. 5 bedrooms. In our hometown. I kept watching. Then came the voice. "So this is the kitchen. Plenty of space for big family gatherings. And once Marcus helps us with the down payment, we'll finally be able to move out of that cramped rental." It was my dad. He was narrating the video to a realtor. I paused it right there. So that's what this was really about. Not reconciliation. Not love. Just money. My money. That night, I blocked their numbers. Every one of them. And the next day, I called the local station and gave them the truth. Not a rage-filled rant. Just the quiet facts. I wasn't supported. I was shamed. I was told sports were worthless. My success belongs to me, not the people who tried to break me. They never aired another segment. My parents never got that house. And I never went home. But sometimes, I still wonder. If they had never seen me on TV, if I had stayed invisible, would they have ever remembered they had a son? I thought cutting them off would bring peace. It didn't. Instead, it followed me. The interviews, the questions, the assumptions. Every time I sat for a press conference, some reporter would dig around and toss out, "You've overcome so much. Any chance we'll see your parents at a game this season?" I always gave the same answer. "I focus on football." That line worked for a while. Until my rookie debut. It was the second quarter. We were down by 10, and the stadium was electric. I took the handoff, bounced left, broke a tackle, then another, and ran it 47 yards straight into the end zone. First NFL touchdown. Fans screamed. Coaches threw headsets. My teammates tackled me in the end zone. It should have been the greatest moment of my life. But when I got back to the sideline, the camera zoomed in, and there they were. My parents. Front row, smiling like nothing had ever happened. I froze. Rick was on the sideline with a headset. He mouthed, "They used your player pass." I'd forgotten. Each rookie got 2 complimentary tickets per game. I'd listed them under guest, never thinking they'd figure out how to claim them. They did. After the game, they waited outside the tunnel with the rest of the family guests. My mom waved like it was Christmas morning. I walked right past her. Didn't break stride. Didn't say a word. Rick caught up to me in the hallway. "You sure about this?" he asked. I nodded. They made their choice years ago. That night, my dad sent me a long email. Said he knew I was upset. Said he hoped that touchdown healed old wounds. Said they wanted to be part of the journey. The journey they tried to end before it even began. I archived the message without replying. A few days later, a package arrived at the team facility. Inside was a photo album, old pictures. Me as a toddler in a Halloween costume. Me holding a soccer ball. Birthday cakes. Family trips I barely remembered. There was a note inside, handwritten. "We didn't always get it right, but we never stopped loving you." I almost laughed. Love doesn't show up only when the cameras do. Coach noticed I was off during practice. "You sick?" I shook my head. "Just tired." He pulled me aside. "Look, you've earned every yard you've run. Don't let ghosts steal your momentum." It stuck with me. But the real test came 2 weeks later. We had a Monday night home game. Prime time. Stadium packed, lights blinding. During warm-ups, Rick jogged over with that look he gets when something's wrong. "They're here again." Front row. I exhaled slowly. Let them watch. The game was brutal, tied in the final minutes. On 3rd and goal, Coach called a run up the middle. I barely made it in, but when the ref raised his arms, the stadium went wild. I didn't celebrate. I walked over to the camera, stared straight into it, and said, "This is for every kid who got told they weren't good enough. Keep going. They don't get to write your ending." Later that night, the clip went viral, and my dad texted me again. "You looked angry. Hope it wasn't about us. We want to support you now." I left the message unread. They wanted to rewrite history, pretend they were always in my corner. But I remember exactly who was there, and who wasn't. What would you have done if your own parents only came back once you made it big? It all boiled over the week after my second national commercial aired. It was for a big brand, one I used to dream about while watching Sunday games as a kid. The ad showed me sprinting through alleyways, leaping fences, dodging obstacles, cut with clips of me scoring in real games. The message was simple, earned, not given. It dropped Friday night. By Saturday morning, I had over 100 new messages. Most were congratulations. 3 were from my father. "Just watch the ad. So proud. You've come so far. We always knew you had it in you. Don't let pride keep you from your family." That last one hit different. Because it wasn't just a lie, it was a challenge. They weren't proud of me when I was biking home from 6 a.m. lifts with blisters on my feet. They didn't know I had it in me when they told me college sports were a waste of tuition. And now I was being told I was the one holding a grudge? Rick called that night. "I know this is pushing buttons, but you need to see something." He emailed me a link. It was a fundraiser page. "Help us get back on our feet. Support Marcus's family." At first, I thought it was a scam. But no, there was a family photo at the top. Me, as a kid, sandwiched between my parents. A quote underneath. "Marcus Davis, now a professional athlete, was raised in this loving household. We've fallen on hard times and are asking for help getting a new home and medical care." I scrolled down. People had donated nearly $8,000. I called Rick, furious. How did they get away with this? They worded it carefully. No direct claims. But the implication's clear. They're using my name, my face, without asking. Want me to get legal involved? I didn't answer right away. Because deep down, I didn't care about the money. I didn't even care that strangers believed it. What broke me was the photo. They'd chosen that image. From the one good day I remembered, when I scored 3 goals in a Little League championship. My mom hugged me tight that day. My dad ruffled my hair and said, "Look at you. Maybe you're not useless after all." That was the closest thing to affection I ever got. And now it was bait. I closed the fundraiser, opened my contacts, and unblocked their numbers. It was time. I called. My dad answered after 2 rings. Marcus. His voice cracked. I saw the fundraiser. A pause. Then, it's not what you think. You used a photo of me. You lied. We didn't lie. We just told people we were your parents. That's not illegal. No, just pathetic. I heard my mom in the background. Is he yelling? Put it on speaker. Marcus, she cut in, we are your family. You don't get to shut us out forever. You did that when I was 16, when you told me to leave because I loved the game more than grades. That's not fair, she snapped. We wanted a better life for you, and I built it. Without you. There was a long silence. Then my dad said quietly, so what now? I took a breath. You take the fundraiser down. You stop showing up at games. You stop pretending we're some happy family. And if we don't, then I go public. You'd shame your own parents? I didn't hesitate. You already did. I hung up. The fundraiser was gone the next day, but so were the donations. They'd spent it already. That much I found out through the team's legal rep, rent, a used car, some hospital bills. They tried to get help off my name before they ever picked up the phone to say sorry. Now I was the bad guy again. But here's the thing. What do you owe to the people who only show up after the finish line? A few weeks after the fundraiser incident, I was invited to speak at a local youth camp, one of those summer programs for underprivileged kids. My face was on the poster. Marcus Davis, hometown hero. I didn't feel like a hero, but I went anyway. The kids were great, energetic, hopeful, hanging on every word. I talked about discipline, focus, getting up early even when no one believes in you. They clapped when I finished, and a few asked for autographs. Then, after the crowd thinned out, a boy around 11 approached me. He wore a beat-up hoodie, too big for his frame. He looked nervous. Hey, do your parents come to your games? I blinked. No, not anymore. He looked down. Mine don't come to mine either. I crouched beside him. You play football? He nodded, running back. Like you. I smiled. You fast? He grinned. Fast enough. I reached into my bag and handed him a spare pair of gloves. Try these next game. Might make you even faster. His face lit up like I'd handed him gold. I didn't cry then. I waited until I got back to my car. Because that kid, he was me. And maybe, just maybe, I could be what I never had. That night, I posted something different. No highlight reel. No brand collab. Just a message. To every kid chasing something big without a cheering section, keep going. Not everyone will understand your dream, but it's still yours. The post blew up. Thousands of comments. People sharing their own stories. Thanking me for being honest. Saying they felt seen. I didn't mention my parents once. But 2 days later, another letter arrived. Handwritten. No return address. But I recognized the writing. You made your point. We were wrong. And we can't undo it. We just wanted to be part of your life again. Even as background noise. Even if you never say our names out loud. Love, Mom. No manipulation. No requests. Just that. I sat with it for a long time. For the first time in years, I wasn't angry. But I wasn't ready either. Because some wounds don't bleed. They calcify. They harden. You carry them like extra weight in your chest, long after the game is over. A few days later, Rick brought me a new deal, my biggest one yet. Multi-year. Endorsements, appearances, even my own line. You're gonna be set for life, kid. I nodded. I want to put some of it into a foundation. Rick raised a brow. For what? For kids like that boy. Equipment, coaching, travel money. Whatever they need to stay in the game. Rick smiled. That's a good move. No, I said. It's the right one. I launched the Marcus Davis Drive initiative that fall. At the first camp we hosted, I showed up with cleats for every player. On the back of each box, we printed the same phrase. Prove them wrong. Some of those kids will grow up and forget my name. That's fine. But if just one of them hears no and keeps running anyway, it'll all be worth it. I still haven't responded to my parents' letter. Maybe one day I will. Maybe I won't. They made me choose between their approval and my purpose. And now they live with that decision just like I do. But some nights, when the house is quiet and the lights are off, I still wonder, was I wrong for shutting them out completely? Or were they the ones who gave up on me first? Should I let them back in even now?